what I want to introduce you to, because that's the genetic requirement that we need to give our body the fuel and the material that it needs to be profoundly healthy. And again, what we're doing, because we just don't believe it, is that we continue to increase this toxic load that we carry around, or we just walk around with this deficiency that's never met. And then we start to accumulate these symptoms. And the system that we're in now identifies those symptoms and then gives it a name and then tries to fix the symptoms. It never gets to the underlying problem, which is a deficiency or a toxicity. That make sense?
Yep.
Everybody still here?
Yep.
All right. So there's three things that I want you to leave with. One is the gene question. And again, don't just take my word for it. I want you to research it yourself, because you have to own it. Because you have to know that you can rely on what God built this thing with. It's profound. And we just don't believe it, because we're conditioned to believe that we've lost the ability to regulate and restore ourselves and heal, and it needs some kind of biochemical help. And that's what's been happening over the last 100 years. It's not working. That's what the literature shows unequivocally. So why are we still doing it? Right? Isn't it crazy? And the mass of the population is, but there's a movement happening now to just kind of go back to what our gene requires, our gene DNA code, and those folks are starting to experience health at a level that you would think that you don't even, you could never attain. I'm going to go back to that too. When I asked you about when was the last time you felt great, sometimes in the office when I ask folks that, we go down another path, because some folks feel like they're doomed because they have bad genes, because their dad had cancer, and or their mom had heart disease. So again, there's a difference between, I can't solve it all tonight for you, I want to plant the seeds. There's a difference between genetics, your DNA code, which is what your body uses to, it's instruction manual, and gene expression. Gene expression has to do with the lifestyle choices that you make. So if we keep getting crazy with how we take care of ourselves or not, that gene expression winds up getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. Okay, that's enough science, I think, for a bit. So, again, so our genes don't change. If our genes changed, we wouldn't be human anymore. And you just have to do I'm going to ask you to do the homework to wrestle with that. Because if you don't, you're going to just keep believing what you've always believed in. This is how Dr. Chestnut will go this far. If you knew what a donut did to you, for real, you would never eat it again. If you knew what an apple did for you, you would always reach for it. If you believed it. And we've been conditioned and manipulated because these science folks in ag know how to tantalize our senses to, I mean, a donut tastes pretty darn good, right? But again, think about the toxicity and the deficiency. So I'm not saying don't ever eat them. I'm just saying now you're going to be wiser, because it goes to that level, all right? So your DNA is the same. It doesn't change. You have to know that, because then you can rely on it. And because of the fact that it doesn't change, it has certain requirements that it needs to function, so it can express all that it's supposed to. We're walking around expressing about 25% of that life force that we're supposed to have in there. That's why we're so sick. And now, like I said, I see so many more sick folks. Our Constitution, if we had that on a chart, you know, back in our grandparents' time, when they were brought up on farms and they're eating real food, you know, those are the folks those are the folks that have the constitution of amazing, right? And most of us and our kids now are just being built and designed and fed less to constitution. They're more at risk. And that's what the studies show.